Today I fucked up by starting a nut chart. It's my second semester of college, and my suite is a county ed dorm with 8 guys and 2 girls. We all knew each other from last year and consider ourselves as really good friends. During my freshman year, which took place over COVID, a lot of my friends, suite mates didn't have any roommates due to COVID restrictions. As a suite group we had to collectively fill out a suite agreement form, and of course one of the questions were what we thought about sex in the suite. We joked it off mostly and we came to the conclusion that our suite really doesn't get any sex. And then the topic of masturbation came up, and a lot of my friends who hadn't had to deal with a roommate wanted to keep this practice limited to prevent any awkward encounters in the future. It was at this point I brought up the idea of a nut chart, to keep track of the jackoff to sex ratio we as a suite were experiencing. If you masturbated, you would mark an X on the board under your name. But if you had sex, you would mark a checkmark under your name. It was wholly meant as a joke to make light of our sex life or lack thereof. My suite mates thought it was funny, so we went through with the idea. Sitting in our shared living room was a white board filled with X's and dick jokes. It was a stupid idea for a lot of reasons, but it was kinda fun to see who could be the last one to hold out on putting an X on the board. From here, it's really not hard to see how I fucked up. Cut back to the end of second semester of my freshman year. I got desperate and downloaded Tinder, and miraculously got a match with a girl I'll call Jane. Jane was really awesome, and we went on a couple of pretty successful dates. The school year ended with us having sex. Before the summer started, with both agreed on being friends due to long-distance issues. Cut back to this semester, and she ends up being in 2 of my classes. We start talking and hanging out a lot, and about a week later we decide to have sex again. Later that night, I come back to the suite really excited because I just had a really good time with Jane, and she says she might even want to go on a second date. Before I go to bed, I mark the nut chart with a checkmark. One of my suite mates attends our school burlesque club, and as it turns out, so does Jane. During a burlesque party, this suite mate tells Jane about the nut chart and that they knew that I had sex with her. Jane gets upset with my suite mate, as she didn't know that the nut chart was thing because I didn't tell her about it. She thinks that I was trying to just fill up my board like it's a competition, when in reality it was just a really shitty joke. I feel like such a complete moronic asshole now. I can't believe that I didn't see how exposing your friend's sex life was an okay thing. Not only does she think that I'm only having sex with her to compete with my friends, but she's also pissed that all of my friends know that I had sex with her. Honestly, I feel like I've fucked up so bad here that I don't even know what to say. The entire chart was supposed to be a joke, but it ended up really hurting a girl that I really like. I've since erased the board and tried telling her that it was just a joke, but she's ghosting me now and I don't blame her. Is there anything I can do to try and fix this and show her that she's more than a really shitty joke? Too long did not read. I started a nut chart in my college suite where if someone nuts they have to mark the board. A girl I had sex with, that I really like, thinks that I only had sex with her for the game. Ah, youth. I envy you, my friend. I feel like you're living your best life, nut charts and all. Apologize to Jane. Do something sweet for her and tell her honestly how bad you feel about it all. You didn't fuck up, your suite mate did. What the fuck were they thinking? Speaking of the nut chart outside Nuthalla. Wait till she finds out you told all of Reddit too. Colleges have burlesque clubs now? Personally I would have put an X 3 times a day and a check every other day just to be funny as soon as I hooked up with her, also to cover up the real facts. It's nice that you're willing to take your fair share of the blame, but what roommate goes, "Hey, let me bring up my roommate's sex life to the girl he's having sex with, and let's talk about our completely personal and dumb game," definitely meant for just our friend group's knowledge. My friend, to immortalize your legendary checkmark, and appease the almighty Jane, you must partake in an ancient Viking ritual, and burn the nut chart as an offering of peace. Send it forth to Valhalla as Jane is the witness, and maybe by the grace of the Norse gods she will grant you forgiveness. Continuing to try to write it off as a misunderstood joke isn't going to get you anywhere. If you truly understand that what you did was pretty degrading, regardless of your intent, you need to drop the joke explanation and just straight up apologize for what you did and tell her you realize now why it's not okay and it won't happen again. And if you don't actually understand that, then just leave her alone. TIFU. By jerking off in a Catholic hospital. Obligatory not today. My wife and I struggled with fertility when we were trying to have my firstborn 4 years ago. We live in a rural area with one hospital and one OB office. They wanted a semen sample to help with a diagnosis. Spoiler alert, it was me. Seeing that we live 45 minutes from the hospital and the sample needs to be fresh, I just figured I'd pull one off at the hospital. I was raised Catholic but have since left it behind for more of a be nice to people and avoid the shitbags mindset. So we check in and the nurse gives me a specimen cup. I think she thought I'd take it home to fill it. Well, me being one to avoid wasting time, found a quiet bathroom and a Wi-Fi connection. I dialed up a favorable site and did the deed. Only when I returned to her 10 minutes later did I realize my fuck up. Catholics believe spilled seed is a sin and I just pulled one off like it was my job. The look on her face when I showed back up so soon as imprinted in my brain. TLR, I jerked off in a Catholic hospital and killed the innocence of a nurse. How else would they get the sample? Lol. The VA handed me the cup and told me to use the public bathroom next to the floor's elevator and bring it right back. My wife stood guard at the door and kept turning people away. I don't think you did it wrong, bro. Sperm starts dying off in the first few minutes after ejaculation. She was probably surprised you came back in 10 minutes. There's nothing innocent about us nurses. We literally deal with almost every bodily fluid and orifice on a daily basis. Also, Catholic hospitals are just regular hospitals with different operating policies dictated by guidance from a governing body. As a Catholic school kid who was subjected to their sex ed program, they don't believe in handjobs and oral sex either. How the hell did they think you were gonna get it out? If you got it all in the cup, you didn't spill it. Boom, loophole. I'm not even a Catholic, and I know something about this. It's called the sin of Onan, and he sinned by spilling his seed upon the ground. You spilled it into a cup. You're good, I'd think. The theologically acceptable way to get a semen sample. Poke a hole in the end of a non-spermicide condom. Wear it to have sex. The sex might conceive a child, since there is a hole in the condom, so it's legitimate. Collect the semen sample from what's left in the condom. Yeah, rubbing one out in the hospital bathroom is a lot more efficient. Raised Protestant in Catholic schools, this made me laugh more than it should have. This is the polar opposite of a fuck up in my eyes. Today I fucked up by flushing my earbuds down the toilet trying to masturbate. So this happened like 30–45 minutes ago. I am a guy, 28. I am single and a bit of a porn addict. I came home from work and felt like jerking off. So I went to the bathroom to take a shit, do the deed and then shower. I know, I need help. Where I live, we use a squatting latrine instead of the sitting water closet. I put my earbuds on top of the flush box. I don't know what else to call it, as I was taking a shit. I was scrolling Reddit and when I was done, I put my phone up there too. After dropping the deuce and washing my hands, I was ready to pleasure myself. But when I grabbed my phone from the top of the flush box, my earbuds got caught in my fingers and slipped right into the toilet and down the drain, in less than a second. I almost screamed out no, as this was a new set of earbuds I just bought a week ago. They were pretty cheap, so very little damage there. After the initial shock, I realized this is probably the funniest shit that has happened to me recently. Decided there was no more will left to masturbate anymore. So I just took a shower and got out. Gonna buy a new set tomorrow. Borrowed my sister's pair for now. Told her I left mine at the office. Swore to myself, never gonna tell anyone this ever. Too long did not read. Put my earbuds in a risky place directly above the toilet. They got caught in my hand when I tried to grab my phone and dropped directly into the toilet drain. Edit. When I say earbuds, I mean wired in-ear earphones. These were not Bluetooth or wireless or any premium items, these were cheap, wired earphones. And no, I am not using my sister's earbuds, which are also wired, to watch porn now. I'm sure your sister will love to get those back after a spank session in the bathroom. Elmau 28, single, and a bit of a porn addict defines a lot of people here on Reddit, my friend. Don't be hard on yourself. Better the earbuds than your phone. I'm hoping you have a better today. Swore to myself, never gonna tell anyone this ever. Proceeds to post story on Reddit. You're paying for your sins. My Bluetooth earbuds I believe to have lost went through the wash last night. I take issue with the order of things. Take a shit, do deed, shower. Wouldn't it be better to knock one out then shit then shower so you're not spanking it in a stinky place? Am I the only one here wondering who shits then jacks it, or even jacks it then shits? Put at least an hour between the two for the love of fucking decency. Today I fucked up by introducing my cousin to Reddit and ending her marriage. Obligatory, this didn't happen today but over the course of the last few months. So my cousin and I had our first kids around the same time. She's never been on Reddit, or heard of it, but I'm on it all the time. A few months back I started sending her funny parenting posts on Reddit. Think kids are fucking stupid or just so we can share some laughs, and she was loving it all and I kept sending her posts without thinking twice. Well, unbeknownst to me, she has been miserable in her marriage for some time now and it only got worse after her kid was born. As a background, we come from a very old school culture, and her family is way more conservative than mine is. Think, a woman should be seen and not heard type. She had long resigned herself to the belief that this is all there is to marriage and it's just how it will be for the rest of her life. So back to Reddit. Apparently through all the posts I was sending her she started stumbling upon some other subreddits, including things like relationships, marriage, dead bedrooms, etc. According to her, her eyes were opened that she was not alone in her struggles in the marriage. She even connected with some other women from our culture on Reddit, who had gone through what she was going through in her marriage. She kept asking for advice on how to fix things and kept trying whatever she could. But her husband didn't want to change, typical for our culture. My cousin finally had enough and recently filed for divorce. It has completely shocked our family, and she credits her friends on Reddit for giving her the courage to go ahead with something like this. I'm proud of her for having the guts to go ahead with something like this, but now I'm definitely going to be careful who I share Reddit posts with. TLR, I didn't know my cousin's marriage was in trouble, and after I introduced her to Reddit she found a community that helped her walk out on her husband. Edit. Thanks to everyone saying it wasn't a fuck up at all. It does make me feel better and I know I didn't intend for any of this to happen. But if my family ever found out I had a hand in this, I'd be getting into so much shit. Edit 2. Some people are calling me out for feeling bad that her marriage ended. I have this weird mixed emotion where I'm happy she's in a better place but divorce is still hard. It's hard on her and it'll be hard on her kid. I never thought doing something as innocent as sharing funny Reddit posts could lead to something like this, and that's the part one feel bad about. Doesn't sound like a fuck up at all. You helped her realize that she wasn't happy and that there was life outside of her miserable relationship. Sounds like it worked out great for your cousin. Reading this was kind of suspenseful. I was all like, which was is this going to go sideways? My initial thoughts were, finds out husband is cheating. B. Finds sexy time online play pal and cheats. I was not anticipating emancipates herself from horrible marriage. It may feel like you've screwed her over now, but you've probably helped her in the long run. You said yourself the marriage was already failing. You didn't fuck up, you helped someone take control of their life. That is a win. That's clearly not a fuck up, I would say. That's more today I made something real good. Helping someone to grow is very, very good. Nice what you did, even not intend it. This is a success story, not a fuck up. But now I'm definitely going to be careful who I share Reddit posts with. What? Why? So your other friends can continue to be stuck in horrible relationships that ruin their lives? What is the benefit other than you don't have to feel weird about being the cause for their breakup?